It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Monday's Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. On this, the 27th day of May, 2024, coming to you from the Cruise with Chillie Studios in Forest, Virginia. Headlines this morning, not a whole lot in the news today, folks, but a few little stories today. Carnival Radiance Rescues 25 is the lead story. Also today, new buses for Juneau. A passenger jumps from Icon of the Seas and celebrity cancels some more cruises to Labadee. That and lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning. And of course, today is Memorial Day. I hope each and every one of you have a lovely holiday today. A good time to think and remember all those that have lost their lives and given of their limbs and whatever, so that we can enjoy the freedoms we have in this country. Of course, my dad was one of those. He had total and permanent loss of 3 limbs in World War II. So anyway, happy Memorial Day to everybody. Today also is National Grape Day. Now I can deal with that. We quite often get a big batch of grapes and have them in the refrigerator and just take a pod or whatever you call it, a little bunch of them off, and let's sit there and snack on them. I like that a lot. So, all right, before we get to the news today, folks, I got to tell you what happened to me about 2:30 this morning. I was soundly sleeping when I got the old nature call thing that old folks like me go through in the middle of the night. So I took care of business and I came back and crawled back into bed and couldn't go back to sleep. So then, folks, the brain starts working. And I had been talking earlier in the evening about the upcoming Alaska trip and how much I hate the thought of getting on airplanes for that trip. So there I am, 2:30, by then 2:45 in the morning, laying in bed thinking, wonder how long it would take me to drive. So I got up and I got my phone out and I start figuring it's 2,900 miles from here to Vancouver. So I figured, well, my car gets 27.5 miles to the gallon. That's going to take me 105 gallons of gas to get there. Let's say if I can average $4 a gallon, because I know on the West Coast it's a lot more expensive than it is here. So that would cost me, $420 in gas each way. So that's $840. Plus I'd have motels and meals. So I'm looking at $1,100-$1,200. I said, yeah, and plus taking up, for 8 days, at least a week of driving, say 4 days before, 4 days after, because I can't go, 12, 14, 15 hours a day anymore. So thankfully I said, well, yeah, that's not such a good idea. I said, I wonder what the train costs. I did that a couple years ago. I took the train from right here in Lynchburg, Virginia. That was to Seattle. So this is a little bit different to Vancouver. You got to go across the border and it's, just a tick further. So I pull up my Amtrak app and I start plugging in numbers and I back off the number of days that I know it's going to take me to get there. I said, okay, if I leave the 10th, that would get me into Vancouver on the 13th, and we sail on the 14th. That's what I want to do. And I pulled up put it in for a round trip, of course, and pull up the price, and it says $333. And I said, are you serious? $333? I said, I'll do that in a heartbeat. So I said, well, I wonder what the sleeper thing would cost. So I punched the button for that $1,900, and I said, oy vey, I can't afford that. So that's dead. So I went on and I thought, well, hell, I'm going to book this. So I went on and started putting all the information and stuff in, and it gets to the return thing where you got to pick each one of the legs of the trip. And I realized that $333 was one way. And going home, it was $414. I don't know why it's $70 difference, but anyway, it was. So that, in fact, was $700 and some dollars. I'm thinking, daggone it, see how nicely I said that? That's not what I said, but I said something similar to that. So Princess Air flight, it's $600 for the round trip. Doesn't sound so bad after all. I just hate the thought of being that uncomfortable for that many hours. So I guess I'm going to fly. I would have been better off taking another sleeping pill and going back to sleep, because now I haven't had any sleep on top of sitting up and getting frustrated on driving and flying and training to get to Vancouver. So at any rate, what can I say? I'm going to fly. All right, guys. So if you're listening via the podcast, you're always welcome here. You can access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcast from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. So, all right, let's, before we get started with the few little news stories today, let's take a quick break from one of my fine network sponsors. Carnival Cruise Line's Carnival Radiance rescued 25 people from a small stranded boat off the Pacific coast of Mexico Saturday morning. The ship was initially contacted by the U.S. Coast Guard about the small vessel's distress call and immediately responded to divert to the boat's location. A total of 25 people were on the small boat, including 3 children. The overloaded boat did have an outboard motor, but it appeared to be non-functioning or out of fuel. There was also inadequate room for the supplies on board the small craft. Some, though not all of the individuals, were wearing life jackets. Once the refugees were brought aboard the cruise ship, they were provided with food, water, and medical assistance as needed. A rendezvous was arranged with the U.S. Coast Guard officials so they could be turned over to the proper authorities as a standard procedure for these types of rescue operation. There are no reports of injuries among those rescued. A man was rescued after jumping into the ocean from Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas Sunday morning as the ship sailed towards Roatan, Honduras. The incident occurred one day after departing from Miami for a 7-night Western Caribbean cruise. The incident happened approximately 40 miles north of Santa Lucia, Cuba. An hour later, a Royal Caribbean official said that the man was in the ship's intensive care unit with his family. At this time, it's unclear what prompted the man to jump. His identity and full prognosis has been kept confidential to protect the privacy of the passenger and his loved ones. However, it is assumed alcohol may have been involved. Why not join us on a cruise with Chillie from New York to Rome on the Norwegian Epic? The ship sails on March 31st, 2025 from New York, with stops in Bermuda, Ponta Delgada, Lisbon, Barcelona, Cannes, Livorno, Naples, and arrives at Civitavecchia in Rome on April the 15th. Solo cabins start at $27.32. Double occupancy starts at $16.32 per person. Those prices include all taxes and port charges. Give me a call or text 434-258-9264 for a transatlantic on the Epic from New York to Rome. Juneau has a few new double-decker tour buses operating this season. By using these superior vehicles to tour, we are able to reduce congestion, carry more guests while conserving resources. The 4 new double-deckers have replaced 8 of our standard buses. We are very excited about this new addition and look forward to offering excellent tours to beautiful places in the most efficient way possible. That, of course, was from HAP. That's Holland America and Princess Cruise Lines. I spoke with driver Joe Pavanick, who tells me the new buses are wheelchair accessible. Awesome. Now, that's going to give us some new options in Juneau that we haven't had in the past. I have no idea how the cruise lines are going to do this. I mean, this has literally just happened, and I have no idea how the cruise lines are going to do this, if they're going to sell excursions. I just don't know yet. But the new double-decker buses are taking care of 8 of their old buses that they've been using for years that were not handicap accessible or wheelchair accessible. And these are, according to one of the drivers. So pretty excited about that part of it. Celebrity Cruises has begun reaching out to guests booked on upcoming voyages of Celebrity Ascent to inform them of multiple itinerary changes. Most recently, travelers on the February 9th departure have learned that they will not be visiting Labadee, Haiti as planned, but instead will visit an alternative port. That will be an extended stay in Cozumel. The impacted sailing is a 7-night round-trip sailing from Fort Lauderdale. Join author Ivan Cox of The Cruise Ship Doctor and me, Chilliefalls, on a fabulous sailing of the Norwegian Epic, sailing November 16th from Port Canaveral. This looks to be an extremely entertaining cruise with piano accompaniment by Adele Dreyer, author Cox, and we even might have the nurse from The Cruise Ship Doctor on board. This looks to be a great week. Why not join us, folks? And that's going to wrap up the news portion of today's show. I had planned on going out someplace today and do some filming until we got hit with a storm from hell last night. It didn't last long, but man, it was intense. Lightning pretty close, heavy rain and unbelievable winds, but it didn't last long. But everything is soaked. When I went around to open the door for the housekeepers coming in this morning, looking outside, I see some limbs down. So going out someplace today and on the chair, it's going to be muddy and crappy, and no. So I'll put that off until a better weather day. Plus, we're supposed to get some more storms here today. So I'm probably not going to get out and find something interesting to do as I had planned. Now, if it gets sunny, I'll go out to the pool. I did yesterday get into the second step. So that means I was a little, mid-calf in the water. It's early for me to do that. So maybe today I'll try to get a little more in. That water's cold, I'll tell you that. It's still really cold. So also got to check and see what the storm did to the pool. The pool was looking so good. And then you have a storm and blew all kinds of crap in it, I'm sure. But we'll see. All right, let's go over and see who's in the chat room on this Memorial Day show. And sorry, there wasn't a whole lot of news today, folks. I was relatively surprised at that. A long weekend. So, yeah, not a great deal. Of course, I'll probably get buried tomorrow. All right. Mike's with us. Hi, Mike. Hot Air Tom is here. Said happy Memorial Day, everyone. Gretchen's with us. She's out in Ohio. There's Elizabeth down in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. Already 98 degrees with the heat index. Wow. I will be poolside in case you are wondering. Yes, I'm sure about that. I'll probably do the same thing this afternoon. I've got to call one of my regulars who's decided she wants to go on the Epic Transatlantic in March. So, gotta call her and take care of that. 68 there for Gretchen, but sunny. Elizabeth, have you seen my messenger question for you? There's Roger down in Jacksonville. Says good morning. Katie's with us. Hi, Katie. Thank you for your dad's service. I appreciate that, Roger. Yeah, Dad he was an interesting character. Most people, when you saw my dad, you wouldn't even know that there was anything wrong with him other than he had kind of a slight limp. Of course, he had an artificial leg, but he had one leg amputated at the knee. He had no muscle below the knee in the other leg, and he had 6 inches out of his left arm from between his shoulder and elbow. So his elbow was like right here. So that was rated as total and permanent loss of 3 limbs, total and permanent loss of 3 limbs. He spent 3.5 years in Walter Reed Hospital in Washington during the war. And yeah, pretty proud of my dad. My dad was didn't open up and talk about a whole lot of things. He was of that generation that kept everything pinned in. And it was really, I was in college and he and mom came out to visit one weekend. And dad and I sat in the kitchen at the kitchen table, drinking bourbon all night, talking. And he told me everything from start to finish. So, yeah, I miss my dad. So, Hi there, Tom says, so while Chillie was having insomnia, I too was planning trips to London and Paris. Yeah, I saw your messages. Got Chillie and I booked with Eurorail pass for our journey. And we're going to have dinner at the Eiffel Tower. I thought I'd point that one out. Although they won't let wheelchairs go up to level 2. Now, I have no idea how high level 2 is. I mean, I might be the second floor as far as I know. I don't remember from when I was at the Eiffel, because it's been, wow, how many, 35, 40 years, 45 years since I was at the Eiffel Tower. But that's okay. Hot Air can go to the top and take pictures for me. I'll let him do that. And then I'll steal his pictures. Or I'll send my kid. No, I won't, because I'll be taking pictures of wherever I am of people. So anyway, looking forward to that. We will take a train from Southampton to Winchester. spent 3 nights there, and then trained to London for 5 nights, then Eurostar to Paris for 5 nights in Paris. Well, that sounds good to me. In my continuing research of my family military, I found new information. My cousin died while being a POW of the Japanese and Dutch Dutch New Guinea. And Roger, thank you for all of your family service as well. Got us booked for a lunch at the Level 1 Eiffel Tower restaurant. See, they're hot air, Tom. I was just saying that. Sounds nice, Tom. Tom, I've been debating doing the same thing. Deciding if I want to do London and Paris or Venice and Paris. All land by train, no cruise. When are you going? We're going, Gretchen. There he is. We're taking the Bliss Transatlantic on January the 4th and returning on the Bliss after her dry dock on February the 2nd. Then I'm going back again on March 31st, and I have to fly home on that one. So, Gretchen says, too soon and too cold. But you guys will have a heck of a time, I'm sure. It'll make for some great videos. Oh, yeah. You can be sure. What is the temperature of the pool? Going to my sister's for a cookout, but it's so hot out there. The temperature of my pool, I have frostbite on 7 toes from getting in up to the second step. I have no idea. I don't. It's cold. I put a thermometer in the water. I don't even know where a thermometer is. I'll wait until my toes tell me, okay, you can get in. That's how I do it. It's cold. Now, Amanda, I mean, she's has the internal thermometer all messed up, if you know what I mean, ladies. So a woman in her 50s, you know what that's like. So she'd go out there and get in it without even thinking twice, and she'd be happy as a clam. She gets home tonight. I'm glad she's getting home. We've made it through. We got one more meal to do tonight because she's not going to be home till after dinner. So maybe I can. No, I'm not going to get them out of the house to go out to eat. Maybe we can go pick up something and bring it in. We'll see. Elizabeth said, haven't seen your message, Tom. I will look just after this and respond. There's Kenneth up in Pennsylvania. We're getting things booked for a hotel and airline. We're going to try to be in New York sometime. You are the only different thing we may do is the canard. Oh, yeah, on the way home. That would be really cool if you do that. By the way, Kenneth, get Robin to send me y'all's email address and phone number. I don't know if I've lost numbers that I've had, but I've been looking in my logs for the cruises coming up, and I don't have that information. I had to do the same thing with Hot Air Tom. So it's not just you. I had to get him to send me to make sure the number I had was correct and send me his email this weekend because it got eaten. Maybe it's some mysterious bacteria, or I don't know what it's doing. And then I'm talking to my graphics person up in Minnesota, and 2 of our sales sheets got changed. I didn't change them. He didn't change them. But like I had the headline of Southampton to or maybe it was Miami to Southampton, and the body of the cruise was the Boston to Quebec, something just, and I've got it correct on my computer. So just on the website, somehow it got changed. I don't even have access. Come on, tongue. Access to the Cruise with Chillie website. Minnesota John takes care of that. So he's baffled as to why we had two of them changed. One was just a reversal of pricing, which could have been a mistake, and one that I didn't catch. But it's really weird. The two of those sheets were a mess, just an absolute mess. So we're trying to get all that straightened out now. One, I need to do a round of selling again on the September cruise, if anybody wants to go with us to Quebec and back. Boston to Quebec. Suzanne, some of you might remember Suzanne Rager. She was on a cruise with us before. She's going. And that was the one Mary Ellen's going, but she had to cancel because she had some surgery. So wheelchair can go to level 2, not to the top due to safety. In case of emergency, they use the steps down. Okay. Maybe we can work out an upgrade to business class on the flight home from Barcelona. I don't know, just as long as I'm as close as possible to the front of the plane. If NCL uses TAP, they have an upgrade bid program like NCL does. I don't know. Ruby Chambers, can I send you some kind of app? I'm not sure, Ruby. I don't know who you are. And this is a channel that is used for travel and cruises and this live stream and other things. So that's what this channel is about. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. Again, you guys have a wonderful Memorial Day. If you have not already put your flags up, please put your flags up and fly them today. We would appreciate that greatly. All right, guys, have an outstanding day. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see everybody back here tomorrow. Y'all have a great holiday.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you'd like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chilliescruises.